Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 261.
261.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. A couple of discounts for Walt Disney World just came out this past week. Check out their website, not just for those discounts, but there's other ones as well. And you never know what offers there might be for Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, and pretty much anywhere else you will want to go in the Disney universe.
Not to mention Universal, worldwide cruises, you name it, they can cover it for you.
Just about everything.
So we're going to start off at the Magic Kingdom. You could see a nice big line of people waiting. This was last Monday for the reopening of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
So the Pirates of the Caribbean had gone down for refurbishment on February 25th. So it really was only about a 3-week process. Everybody's moving here. It looks like a lot of guests. It isn't too bad, but once we get there,
we find out it's closed.
It's closed. It hasn't opened yet. It took, I think, about an hour and a half still to open, and a lot of guests ended up leaving. So,
well, Disney handled things very well.
They did.
Number one, all this little crowd here that the hardcore people like us that wanted to go right away, they were all given a free Fast Pass to return any time throughout the day.
And then we all stayed and waited for it to open.
But then our double diehards like us, we stuck around, so they gave us, there is a pirate tattoo. I believe we also had we had games here to play, all sorts of entertainment.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of the guests were having a lot of fun. And anybody else, like the regular guests, generally left and went on like Jungle Cruise or something. And so if you don't know, and there's a sticker.
Right. It's just the usual suspects at this point.
For the most part. For those of you who don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean went down for the refurbishment to change the auction scene. So the We Wants the Redhead, that scene is no longer here. If you want to see it, go to Disneyland in the next few weeks.
And it won't be lasting very long there either.
No, for about one more month. I think April 23rd it will go down.
So here we go. We are finally heading to the boat to ride Pirates of the Caribbean for the first time. Nobody has seen it yet. There is big excitement in the air. We're all walking through the queue here.
Well, I think that Disney itself had put out a little something on it. I hadn't read it or anything. It didn't matter to me one way or the other if they put something out. But I think like you could have seen the redhead by then online.
Unfortunately,
it went down again.
This was a big false alarm, but it was nice because we got to see the queue with the lights on and see
we got
some
another
of the
Fast Pass.
Yeah, we got another Fast Pass, and look at there's the ship in the background. You know you can't see all this stuff very well after when the lights are out, so it was kind of nice to be able to go through the queue with full lights on.
Well, after this, though, I was kind of like, well, how long can we wait? You know,
right.
You can't wait all day. But we eventually did make our way back down. It took about an hour and a half from the time the park opened to the time the ride opened finally.
So one of the first little changes that we noticed was the mermaid that had been added to this little scene with the beach here and the skeleton. The mermaid is gone.
And I didn't notice it. Like that's not one of those things that I really think about each time. I think that had been there for a number of years at this point since one of the last Pirates films. Not the last one, but maybe the one before that. But anyway, here we are. Everything else I thought looked pretty much the same.
Well, I think the big change for me was the lighting. They have much better lighting now, even in the scene that you just saw. All the classic scenes look better than ever and sound better than ever. But, and here, look at how nicely lit Jack Sparrow is. Anyway, we're just going to let you watch the new scene, and then we will talk about it after.
Do I hear 10? A hen for a 10.
10? I'll give you 20 for the wrong.
Pipe down, you lily-livered lover. Strike your feathers, dearie. Show 'em your flock.
Hey, send them hens to Davy Jones. It's the rum they want.
Yeah, the rum.
So the first thing I've learned is Pirates love chicken. Huge fans of chicken. A hen for a 10.
I will say they're not getting a very good deal, those pirates, though, because I can go into Costco and for a 5, I can get a fully cooked chicken for that.
Well, were there 10s back then?
I don't
or
know.
5s?
I have no idea.
So, and again, I think there is a missed opportunity, because if one of these chickens is a little reddish, you could have said, "We want the red hen."
You could have
totally.
said that.
You could have shirts. And I do miss, and you know, joking aside, I miss that line. It's such an iconic line, and it would be nice if somehow they managed to keep that in the scene.
They probably could have incorporated it somehow. Maybe if they had been down for another couple of weeks, they could have just kind of worked on the audio or something little. She looks great.
Look at the actual liquid. I mean, the animatronic is fantastic. There's no denying. Technically, it is an amazing job what they've done. And she speaks here at Walt Disney World. The new redhead at Disneyland Paris does not.
And I'm going to assume that the Disneyland version is going to be a copy of what we have here. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll have a different wording or something. I mean, who knows? But we'll know in less than 2 months. Because they go down in about a month or just under a month from now.
Now, don't you have a little backstory on what she is supposed to be?
Well, Disney says that her name is Red, R-E-D-D, and she is now a pirate who has pillaged the town's rum supply and has something to say about it. I'm not really sure what she has to say about it. I mean, she has a little something to say, I guess, but you also have all these people over here, with other items, so it's not just rum, like somebody has a picture, so I'm not quite sure I fully get it either.
There's still an auction involved,
right?
But But really, do pirates want the chickens, the hens that bad? Or perhaps, I mean, rum is a big part of it.
They need to go to Costco.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's all I know. But, things change at Walt Disney World. Things change at Disneyland, and they always will. So I don't usually get too worked up over most things changing. Right.
I will still go on the Pirates of the Caribbean. I will still enjoy it, but at least, I have my memories. I prefer the classic scene, but I guess we'll get used to this.
Well, but if I look at the older classic scenes, the former ones, I kind of like that they've made some modifications along the way. And in life, you kind of have to do that because times change. So we'll see how we think like in a year or two from now. And
I have to add another thing. In this fire scene here, there is a new smell effect that I've never seen before or smelled before. And it's really nice. So it's there's a lot of changes, a lot of updates, I guess you could say.
So has anybody else seen it? I know you've probably seen our videos and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, let us know what you think of the new redhead. And the real excitement of this day was Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny started appearing at the Magic Kingdom. I'm
not sure that I would say this was the big excitement, but we always enjoy seeing the different characters at the holidays. Disney had put out a blog post making it look like other Easter bunnies were going to meet as well, but I think it's only going to be Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny through Easter.
You know what? That is good enough for me. I thoroughly enjoy every year talking to Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny.
They do look very related to maybe like Chip and Dale.
Yes, they look like cousins, perhaps. I always think that too.
So it's, they're really cute. And I like when there's different characters out in the parks. They also give out this Happy Easter.
The autographs.
Yes, like a little autograph card. I guess they must not sign autographs themselves because they give out the card, although some characters do both.
Yeah, if you ask them nicely, they may sign. You never know.
Yeah, we didn't ask.
I miss the Peeps. They used to give out Peeps.
They did. Maybe they'll do it again sometime. So one day I had seen that they were having Easter eggs at the Yacht Beach Club, and I don't think they've ever done this before.
No, this is brand new for this year. This is where they used to have the carousel for for Christmas.
Well, not used to. This is where they have the yearly carousel for Christmas.
You get the idea.
So this is like the first annual then. I don't know if it will be annual, but I thought how they did the eggs here was so awesome. So here is the Wreck-It Ralph egg, and it is actually bigger than it looks here. It doesn't look that big in a sense, but it really is. And they did such a tremendous job on that, both front and back. Wreck-It Ralph also has we'll see one over at the Grand Floridian. Wreck-It Ralph 2 is coming out this year.
Are
There's
those
a
jelly
Bambi.
beans on the ground?
Yeah,
Very
there's
different.
all kinds of jelly beans.
So at the Grand, which we'll be seeing coming up, they have chocolate that's all around the eggs. But this is very nice. I'm glad they're doing something different. It's very colorful with the jelly beans. I wonder how much of those, how many of those jelly beans will disappear over this
probably not
display.
too many. You don't want to grab those. So
Oh, there's a hidden Mickey I see up in
Yes.
Chip's Bubbles.
And then, okay, here you have Stitch, and you have Scrump, and you have Lilo's egg, and then you have Hey Hey, which I'm not quite sure I get, except maybe
love
Hey
Hey
Hey swam from Moana to Stitch, Lilo and Stitch.
Well, Stitch was making kind of a crazy face. Maybe he was doing that in honor of Hey Hey's
That's
kind of
possible.
funny faces. So I like this. This is very, very nice. I'm so glad that they've started this, hopefully, new tradition.
And here is also the Mary Poppins carousel. You don't have Mary Poppins or Bert, but you do have the penguins here. And also, I really like simple but really nice are this Happy Easter with the 5 different characters here: Goofy, Pluto, Mickey, Minnie, etc.
And now we're at the Disney's Grand Floridian, and this is where the Easter eggs have been for many, many years, and we happened to get there right while they were still setting up. So if you go too early on the opening day, you may not see the eggs in force. But here they are, and there was Chef Eric there, and we recognize most of these people
Cast
from
members.
the cast members from the pastry team.
Right. They do the gingerbread house, and you can see here they're getting ready. It is about 10 a.m. You had said that last year they even did it later, so we were very fortunate. We were meeting some friends and hoping that they would be out. So it was really fun to see them setting everything up.
I loved it. I think this was the highlight, actually, just watching the setup. I always like to see how things are done.
Oh, there's
and
me.
It's very oh yeah, I didn't even see you had
And
a little
the-
cameo
yeah, and
there.
the,
And I love how they actually do this. They just use regular Disney paper cups, and they kind of put the different colored chocolate to to sort of frame all the beautiful Easter eggs.
Yes, and we had never seen that before. This is actually the 7th year of Disney's Grand Floridian Easter egg display. There was no sign up yet, so I had to go back to my article from last year to kind of get
That's how early
all the
we were.
information. Yes.
Before the sign.
So the eggs, most of the eggs will stand 16 to 20 inches tall and weigh 9 to 12 pounds. There are some eggs here that aren't really traditional eggs, so wouldn't be within that. And then almost everything's made of edible products, and that would include chocolates and I don't know how to say fondant. Fondant.
Fondant is correct.
I never have used it, and modeling chocolate, cocoa butter, etc.
The elephant there is tremendous. Reminds me of the dogs they that were very realistic they used to have in previous years.
Yeah, and I actually asked about that since there were so many of the team out there. I said, the animals, are they all created by the same person because they're so well done?
Right.
And they said yes. It's a bakery team member who does the sculpting on those, and you can tell there are other items that are sculpted as well, like the Oliver and Company one.
Well, I did ask Chef Eric, and he told me there was 20 new eggs. 20 new eggs.
That's what I was
That is a
told
lot
too.
of eggs.
Yes. So about 20, and then they must have another like 20 from previous years that they brought
probably
out.
have 50. I mean, there's so many of these eggs all around.
Right, and there are some that I can tell did not return that were there last year. This is not new. This one was there last year. I think it was new for last year.
Right,
This
it was new
Villains
for
one.
last year.
And
Mhm.
actually, I had totally forgotten about this one. I thought it was new, but I found out it wasn't by looking at my last year's article. But here with the Zero and The Nightmare Before Christmas, I do not recognize that one
No,
from previous years.
I think this one is new.
I'm sure this
I think
one
I would
is.
remember this. Otherwise, we will link to all the videos. We have videos of, I think, all of them that has ever happened.
I think so.
And was Wreck-It Ralph new? I want to say that
I
Wreck-It
think
Ralph
Wreck-It
is
Ralph
new.
is new. The Wizard of Oz is new. Pinocchio's not new.
There's Robin Hood. I
Right.
think Robin Hood was there last year.
Yes, that one I recognize. So I believe Wreck-It Ralph is new this year. And I know, like, all with the cupcakes and everything, all of that is new.
Well, we're about to see The Wizard of Oz, and we were told by one of the cast members that actually worked on it, it is a homage to the Great Movie Ride.
Right. She actually, I guess, designed and created this one. And I think her name's like Bobby. I'm not sure how to say it. But anyway, it really is really a beautiful I don't want to say egg, like it's a whole display. And then Lady and the Tramp have been here a number of years.
And I should mention, these eggs have beautiful, beautiful designs on the back. And sometimes,
Many of them.
you know, depending on where they are, you cannot see them. So in this case, if you go around to that little corner there, you can spy the other side, which is very detailed.
The Oliver and Company one on the left-hand corner, I love
With
that
the hot
one.
dog sticking out of his mouth. That's
well, not
awesome.
only just how you can tell the wind is going through the hair. I just think that's incredible.
The Fox and the Hound. We're going to watch that. I don't think you've ever seen that
I
film.
have not seen that one. And then there's the Brave Egg. Those have been here. Lion King, I believe, is new this year.
I want to say that's new also, and that is tremendous. I mean, you can really feel this scene from the film just by looking at this egg. It almost feels like it's moving, although we know it isn't.
It reminds me of Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Yes, absolutely like that. And this one, I believe, is a Little Mermaid tribute, and I see the steampunk egg. But now we're going to move over to Epcot, but we're going to keep the Easter theme going. We're going to play the Easter Egg-stravaganza scavenger hunt.
And the extravaganza is only for about 2 weeks this year because Spike's Pollination Nation is Epcot Flower and Garden themed.
Quick spoiler alert, if you don't want to see the first 2 eggs, jump ahead to 1650.
Or just keep your eyes closed because we're actually going to give a little bit of information here while we're talking too. I just want to mention it's $5.99 for the egg hunt. And if you go, let's say you go to World Showcase at 9 a.m. to have some breakfast over at France, you can go to France, UK, Canada, and Norway and see all of the eggs, and you'll be able to start your map at 9 a.m.
And for a very short time, you can actually do 2 scavenger hunts at the same time.
Yes, and so that's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the scavenger hunts. They're very inexpensive. And really just, it's a nice way, especially right now it's not too hot. I think it's going to hit 89 later this week, but it's been very reasonable as far as weather lately.
Right. A lot of fun. We enjoy it every year. We've done every one that's ever been. So I think this is one of my favorites of all time. I always loved the eggs anyway. The eggs were the very first one that they did back when they had the special limited time magic.
Yes, the scavenger hunts. And I just like that we can start it early and then be done with it. We were done by about noon because we already had 4 of them by 11.
And of course, if we're in France and it's early, we have to have a baguette. And this time we had some nice French cheese to go along with the baguette. And oh boy, so good.
Well, it doesn't matter what time it is. We usually get a baguette in France, whether we're going to eat it there or whether we are going to take it with us. Because for $3, everybody knows.
$3.15 after tax. $3.15, best deal in Epcot right there.
I love those.
And here's my hand model doing the very last couple of stickers.
And I'm trying to get my fingers out of the frame as quickly as possible because I am no hand model.
I think you did a fine job. And now that we have finished our complete map here, we're going to go to the Redemption Center right here and turn it in, and we're about to show all the prizes.
And they are what the prizes are is like an empty character egg, and every year they have the same prizes for the Epcot extravaganza, and there are 6 different ones here: Mickey, Minnie, Cinderella, Belle, and Mike and Sully.
And we chose Sully this year, and I should mention they are the same exact prizes that you can get at Disneyland, who also has the scavenger hunts in Disneyland and in California Adventure.
Right, they have 31 eggs. They have different, and at Downtown Disney, they also have an egg hunt.
So now we're going to jump over to China. We decided we haven't been to the China 9 Dragons restaurant in a while, and we're going to try it and talk about it.
I totally forgot we were going to talk about this.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. That is not a good sign already if it's that forgettable that you don't remember it's a segment there.
Yeah, it was, you know what? It was nice to sit down and try something we haven't had in a while. You had been talking about going to a Chinese restaurant. Like here in Florida, a lot of the, at least where we live, a lot of the Chinese restaurants are just kind of
Takeout only,
go, right?
There's a couple little chairs, but it's not like a nice, relaxing place like the 9 Dragons. And look at all the detail. It's very beautiful in here. I should mention, this was the height of spring break. The park was packed. All the other restaurants were jam-packed. You couldn't get into any place, but we literally walked in. We were seated here within seconds.
And when we arrived, there weren't that many guests, but it was starting to fill up. Like you'll see, there's a fair bit of guests arriving at the time that we were seated. So other restaurants like sometimes like Morocco or Germany you can walk into, although not as much Germany as it used to be.
Well, this really is a big restaurant, so they can seat a lot of people, and they move everybody quick if need
And there
be.
I am.
So, and there you are. Look at that, having your tea, and you loved that tea. I remember.
I did. The tea. You know what? The tea was my favorite part of the meal. I really enjoyed the tea.
Well, let's talk about what we ordered. Here is the menu here.
And what we had, and we'll see, are the pot stickers with chicken. And that's one thing that I really liked. I'm not really a big pork fan. So pot stickers for me, I'm not really a big fan of. So it was really nice to have.
You know who would have
chicken.
appreciated this meal? A pirate. Because we had pot
chicken.
stickers with chicken,
We
and we
had
both
potted
had chicken
chicken
dishes. So we
Yes.
should have brought a pirate with us, because apparently they love the chicken.
And those were good. I mean, it's nice having something different. Again, don't like the pork so much. Then they have this something called a chef selection lunch. It's not cheaper. It's just something a little different than what's on the menu.
Right, and this is the spicy honey chicken, and you just had the
Honey sesame
non-spicy
chicken.
So it was actually kind of similar, and if we had planned this out more, I would have probably gotten a beef item or something so we can try or show a few more different looking items.
It's okay. You know, the one thing about China, and I'm sure we'll go back at some point in future years or something, we often go to Via Napoli. I really like Via Napoli because it's very different than what we can get at other pizza restaurants.
The word is special.
It's special, right.
Special pizza. You can get good Chinese food, pretty much the similar quality anywhere. You're not getting pizza like Via Napoli
Right.
anywhere. So I think I agree with that. I think if you're really looking for something special, more special can be found over China.
And I don't know that some of the other items on the menu there could be some unique items. We didn't go for unique.
There's unique. There's your winner right there.
Yeah, that was, again, and chicken dinner, right?
That's very true. But again, it wasn't bad or anything. It was great. It was very relaxing. Everything was fine. It's just
Nice view.
not special.
Right. For the same price, we usually spend about $50 at Via Napoli, and we spend about $50 here. I thought that Via Napoli, that experience always exceeds it.
So next we're going to talk about Legoland.
So we sent Jerry, a correspondent and a friend of ours, to Legoland for the grand opening of the Great Lego Race. So this, we see Brickbeard here.
Yes,
but
there is Brickbeard and the Wizard.
So the coaster here, it's a Wild Mouse coaster, and now it is also a virtual reality Wild Mouse coaster, although you don't have to ride it with virtual reality.
Well, even though we didn't in person ride.
Not yet.
Not yet. We have I felt like I have ridden it because we've ridden this coaster before virtual reality, and then when we were at IAAPA, we were able to experience the whole virtual reality with the headsets. So I really kind of feel like I have ridden this, although I do need to go there. I have done virtual reality roller coasters. We have, and I don't know about you, I actually really like them.
You know what? When we did it over at
Fun Spot,
it was terrific. So I'm really looking forward to this. We will get over here. We are pass holders to Legoland. And if you haven't been to Legoland, it really isn't just for kids. Even though the coaster says built for kids and everything says built for kids, there is so much fun, like the Ninjago ride, and so much here for adults as well and families to enjoy.
Yeah, I look forward to going to Legoland. I always do. We've been there since it opened, and I do love it. Here we are. We are on the coaster, and you're kind of getting an idea of how the virtual reality works.
Right. It's a virtual world where the guest is a star of the race against several Lego minifigure competitors. And again, Wild Mouse style coaster, which I am not a fan of Wild Mouse coasters. So actually, will prefer to have something over my head so I can't see.
And I like the goggles, by the way, with the Lego eyes. Very nice.
Yes, I actually can't wait to try this one. Legoland keeps upping its game on its attractions. Ninjago, to me, is one of the best of its kind attractions, like a Buzz Lightyear type of attraction.
Oh, I love it, love it. And I'll have to say, I predict this is less scary with the goggles.
Absolutely.
Because those mice, sometimes I worry you're going to fly off these things. So
Right.
I will prefer it with the goggles.
I like roller coasters, but the Wild Mouse ones, once you have the goggles on, I'm just going to enjoy it. And I'm really looking forward, hopefully in the next couple weeks, we can get over to Legoland. The virtual reality headsets are optional, and riders have to be 6 years old and 48 inches tall to be able to ride. And there's a desert, mountain, forest, volcano, and rushing river. That's what you can see during the Great Lego race.
Awesome. Cannot wait. And believe it or not, that is another show.
That's another show.
And thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Right now is a great time to book your Epcot Flower and Garden Festival before it glows away on, I think it'll be May 28th.
Oh, not to mention food and wine.
Coming
not too
up,
early
yes.
for that. Christmas.
Summer. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen this summer. There's so much going on at Walt Disney World this year. Plus Disneyland, we have Pixar Fest coming April 13th, and there's going to be quite a bit more coming. I mean, they're going to be dribbling out the Pixar, for quite some time, like this summer. So there's a lot going on there too.
So make sure you check out MEI Travel for all your travel needs. Much going on this week. It is going to be Easter next Sunday. We will be there for the Easter pre-parade, which we do every single year. And we're going to try something different. We're going to Maria and Enzo's on Easter Sunday for a buffet.
Right. And then we're also going to the Margaritaville Resort. That's going to be opening, I think, later this year.
That's tomorrow. I'm very excited about that.
I'm looking forward to that. So there's quite a bit that we'll be doing this week.
And I almost forgot, we did the Behind the Seeds tour in the land. We hadn't done that in about 4 years, so we'll be talking about that next week as well.
Right, and a little more, just kind of so much more. We have so much coming up.
So anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.